Test. 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 Alright. Looks like I got it figured out. Just trying to make sure everything's working correctly. So, I got everything I think I need. This is the laboratory of Lord Vyemm. This was a level 70 raid zone. I did back in the day. Geez, I must have came in here. This was the most favorite zone I've ever wanted to do. It had all the best items in here. When this first came out, this was the place to be to get gear. They never had any good gear until this zone showed up, and it just attracted people like wildfire. I'm gonna turn this on, turn that on, and let's get some of this stuff going. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna let me stack these. We're gonna check over here, make sure everything's stacking. I probably, there it is right there. That's the buff. Let's see if turn on. Oh yeah, it's, you can stack as many of these you want on. So we'll just we'll turn them all on. Like I was saying, this loot here was the stuff to get. I mean, they didn't have very much. We'll turn this on. They didn't have very much back in the day, and this place had everything. And you could kill this trash here, what they call trash, and it dropped the best items. And you only had one day, you had a 12-hour lockout. So people would come in here and they would kill this trash every day. And then on the weekend, they might do the entire zone. But all the smart ones would just come in here and kill the trash every day. And you would get, you know, some of them can do this trash with just 1 or 2 groups. If you got really good, you could do it with 1 group. But the names in here were pretty tough. You would need at least 3 groups probably back in the day. I mean, I wish I knew what I know now. And what I know now, though, I don't want to do these zones the way they used to be, because it was tough. You know, no one wants to do these zones the way they used to be. It was pretty tough. Okay. It's not gonna let me use this one though, but the thorn coat thing is working alright. Not quite sure if we're gonna pull this guy. This guy here drops pants. And he had all the cool loot. He was tough back in the day too, boy. This guy, they actually made him even tougher. It took a long time before anyone could even kill him. From what I wasn't playing at the very beginning, but the rumor was this guy was nearly impossible to kill. And he hit like a truck. and they eventually nerfed them, made them easier to kill, and probably towards the middle of the expansion, and that was about when I showed up, and people were clearing the zone with improper group setups. See, mage pants? They were clearing this with improper group setups. So what I mean by that is you know, they didn't have one of every class. They had, you know, mixed groups without support, stuff like that. You know, they were doing things with just pickup groups. You know, they would pick up people and they could clear. All you needed was a good tank, and they just muscle through it basically. And what happened was, this guy's level 70, by the way. He's, you know, this is several years later, but they had muscled through it. But they ended up right when they released the next level 70 expansion. See, this is level 70. They released the next one called Echoes of Fedor. This is Kingdom of Skies. They nerfed the items that you got in here, and they nerfed the mitigation, and they nerfed how mitigation worked, and they made, not only doing all that, they made this zone tough again. They made it tough again. They didn't want anyone coming in here and getting gear. And so it was really bad after that. I mean, there was like, no one was doing the zone. No one could do this zone, and everyone was GIMP, and they had this content, and then they had the prior content, and when I got here, everyone was just now having a great time and doing this, clearing this place out, and great loot and everything. People seemed to be like having a great old time. You know, I mean, the loot doesn't just flow like rivers out of here, as you can see, but this was amazing. They never had any loot before. In a raid zone, they didn't have loot like this. So it was, of course, I didn't know much back then. I used to be a clicker, where I clicked all these little buttons, you know, and after a while I learned how to do macros. But, you know, knowing what I know now, I wish I could go back then, and you know, I would have took some time out too at certain points, because it was just ridiculous the way they kind of, the only way they could figure to keep people around longer was to make it to where they couldn't even do anything. And it was really weird, you know. I don't know. You hear a lot of people complaining all the time about stuff, but there was just a very few people. There was 5% of the population, about 5%, was actually able to clear any of it after what they did with this. I mean, it was, and like I said, it was cool, man. You come in here with just randoms, and that was enough, you know. You didn't have to have like a schedule or anything like that. You just showed up and got loot. And you know, this was a long time ago. This was about, you know, 20 years ago. No, not that long. About 15 years ago. And this was you know, a time when, you know, when you didn't have much options. This was, you know, this was it. And I'll show you some of my gear. But this comes from this. I'm in Kingdom of Skies right now. I'm clearing out Kingdom of Skies. But this armor set comes from that I got on. It's all the same armor set. This comes from EOF, Echoes of Fëanor. This is comes from Mayong, contested Mayong. Same with this orb right here, Orb of Dark Minds. That was the thing to have. Only maybe 3 or 4 people after a whole year. About maybe 4 people in a whole year had that item. This came out at the very end of Echoes of Fëanor, the Soulfire quest. This thing is, that's a long quest, boy. That took me a long time to get. This is the best shield. Stone Shield Bulwark. This came out at the very end. Came out at the very end of the Echoes of Fëanor in a special raid called the New Tunare raid. Throne of New Tunare. This Kinos Guard. This was the best shield. This is the Claymore quest. Boy, this thing, it used to have mitigation on it. It does a mitigation increase right there, but it used to have actual mitigation on it. This shield actually, it was a little bit better. I mean, they back in the day, I'm not sure what these were, but the protection on this used to be 1700 a couple of months ago. That's how often they change stuff. So I don't know why they did that, but they just recently nerfed some items in the game. They made things really they made this loot pretty overpowered. You didn't have these stats back in the day. But I can tell you which ones are, the newer ones were the better ones. They always made the new items better. And they still try to hold true to that. They're constantly tweaking these items because they do this thing called TLE, which is a time lock progression server where they release, you know, content every so often. This zone right here was like an all-day zone too, by the way. When you came in here, this was like your afternoon. You know, you spent the whole day in here. As you can see, we're not getting a wild amount of items. Not sure if I missed any chests. Did I miss any chests? Doesn't seem like I've gotten. Not even sure. Who's this guy? Doom Reaver? He looks like a name. Who the hell is this? Huh. Doom Reaver. Oh, he is a name. Huh. Relic chain. This is the stuff you wanted. That's why you farm the trash right there. The trash right there. This turns into fabled items. This right here. That relic can turn into stuff like similar to this. See this little glob here? If you don't kill these globs, then they multiply. And the whole zone can get filled up with them. Shit. But, close some of these screens so you can see. But, this guy here, he drops this item here, right here. You can see this game was kind of weird. Makes target afraid. Does not affect epic targets. This guy's an epic. They gave you loot that was not intended to be used on raid mobs. That was always the weird thing. Like, why don't they give you something useful to kill the raid guy? It was always stuff for see here, he drops the class helmets. That was one of the first times. This was it. You know, you came in here, you got your class helm. Some more relic. This turns into fabled items. You go down to Lord Nagafin, his mender. Lord Nagafin's mender. And see, now we're getting some loot now. See here? And this, when this loot came out, see that graphic? They didn't have anything like that back in the before this. They finally started sticking graphics on loot. You know, they never had any graphics on loot. And the shield I got on right now, that's the Claymore, the Kino's Claymore. And the cloak, that's the Cloak of Flames, which is a long quest line too. The shield and the cloak take forever to get. I mean, nowadays you can get it a lot quicker, but even that shield, the shield was pretty tough. But that sword, the Soulfire sword, that is a booger of a quest, man. I'll tell you what. Even doing it nowadays, I don't want to do that one again. I remember not liking it back in the day, and then I came back and did it again, and I was like, oh my gosh. I remember why I told myself I'll never do that quest ever again. And the reason why is it is a tough, long, well, it's not tough. It just takes a long time to do. You know, a lot of running around here and there. See, back in the day, you didn't have what they call fast travel. I got fast travel. Fast travel is this. You just click your map button, M for map, M map, and your map, you can actually travel to anywhere you want. That's called fast travel. So they didn't have that back in the day. I'm not sure if I can clear the whole zone. We're gonna give it a shot. I'm not having any trouble right now. I have a lot of things to keep me alive. I'm not even having to use anything right now. There's nothing in this zone that should be a problem either for me to kill. I'm not sure if we're missing any loot. I'm gonna go back at the very end. I think we're gonna do hit death toll. Since I'm on the stream, I'm gonna do death toll also. See, something was chewing on my see that condition? Something in the zone. I didn't die. But something's been wearing on my health. The condition of the item is 89%. See, or the health of the item. You have to do repairs in this game. That was the other thing back in the day, man. You died and you had to do repairs, and they wouldn't let you back in the zone. You had to buy repair kits. If you didn't come in here with repair kits and your items broke, boy, you were, and they were expensive, boy. Repair kits costed a lot. I mean, 4 repair kits would probably cost you in American dollars probably $1. So having 5 repair kits was like $5. Or 4, did I just say 4 repair kits? Let me see here. Whatever. But they're expensive. Yeah, they were expensive. This guy here was a pain too, boy. We'll see what we can do with them. There's a trick to this guy. If you don't cure, then you take a massive amount of damage. It's an arcane. Now, I can cure. This spell here, this will cure me. But I got it macroed right now. We'll see what we can do. I'm gonna up my mitigation. See this mitigation right here? We'll up my mitigation and get some potency. Firebrand, boy. That was originally for the Templar and the Paladins. Paladins, boy, these Paladins were going nuts over that Firebrand, dude. Back in the day, they wanted that Firebrand. People would pay a lot of money. I'm talking about $50 for that one item right there. $50, man. There is some outrageous. I mean, you got people that this is all they wanted to do, and this was it. You know, there was no other game. You know, they had World of Warcraft, but no one wanted to play that once they started playing this. If you got hooked on this, boy, you did not want to play World of Warcraft. Let's see if we can get this guy killed real quick. This is the one where you got to cure. See, I got to get it cured. There we go, I got it cured. Still taking damage. I'm going to put up some defense right now. Oh. Oh. That guy, he got me. I don't know what happened. I thought it was just an arcane. I had the arcane cured. I did have some other kind of some other dot on me. And I guess that didn't get cured. We're gonna double check the zone real quick. I could have swore I might have missed something. I might have missed a chest. This is empty. You can see I macroed. This is it's empty. This is a macro. I can just smash these buttons and it just casts all these spells. See, instead of me, I used to click these, man. Back in the day, you could macro these back in the day. I didn't know there was a command. It's /use ability. One word. /use ability. I didn't know. I should have done that back in the day. That's how you get your, you know, want to get some damage going. But you can in this see Grandmaster. You couldn't get these Grandmaster back in the day. You could only have them Master. That's a Master. Grandmaster. You can get them. I'm working on it right now. Ancient. They didn't have this at all back in the day. Ancient. I'm doing an Ancient Harm Touch. That in about 15 days I'll have that learned. That spell learned. But it looks like got most of the stuff cleared out. This is relic. See, like that. Boy, you could spend a whole year, you might not even get that one little item right there. It's so easy for me to do it now, but back in the day, man, people would have paid a lot of money just for that. That gets crafted. You go down to Lord Nagafin, this big dragon, and his mender will craft you a fabled boot out of that. You have to bring 2 pieces you can buy on the broker for like a gold, 1 gold. All right, I'm gonna bring up some backup. This is my mercenary. I wasn't wanting to do this, but we're gonna use a Merc. I was gonna solo the whole thing, but it looks like there's some kind of dot, and it's gonna one-shot me. So this Merc should cure me. Let's get the death march going. Let's kick some butt. See, he cured me. That's the dot I thought had to be cured. He cured it again. See, he's pretty good. He's curing everything. Your dots will show up over here. Yeah. Let's see here. This was pretty good. This is the Paladin. The Paladins wanted this back in the day. Combat hit. You hit something, you get 16 casting speed. That was the Paladin item. Paladins were really good. They were really good about the middle of Kingdom of Skies. And then all of a sudden they got hit with a nerf. Probably right when Echoes of Fedor came out. And a lot of them switched to ShadowKnight. There was a perfectly geared, oh, nearly flawlessly geared and solid relic armor Paladin that was clearing the zone for us. I mean, his name was Keo Kill. He came in here, he tanked all this stuff, he healed himself, he was just a badass Paladin. And after that Echoes of Fedor came out, he got nerfed. They nerfed his mitigation and everything, and they made this zone harder, and we couldn't come in here and do it anymore. That one guy was the only way we could come in here with that pickup raid and clear the zone, and he had all this gear. He must have been in a hardcore raid guild and got everything. This shield's pretty cool. This is a copy of another. There's a level 20 something shield that looks just like this. So they copied it, but it's still a pretty nice looking shield. Wasn't the best. I always wanted back in the day, and I got it now, is this one right here, the Kinos Guard. It used to have mitigation on it. I mean, I had a Guardian, and with this thing on, boy, you were like a giant tank, dude. I mean, it was Stone Spear. That's a spell. That's a spell, and it gives you stone skin. Boy, and a lot of stone skin. Stone Spear. If it proc. Sometimes it didn't proc. Wasn't 100% sure how that thing worked. It seemed to be, if you took direct damage, it would stone skin. If it hit a group member, it would transfer their hit to you. Sometimes it seemed like it did a lot more damage than it was supposed to do to you. So it was kind of weird. You know, instead of your whole group taking a hit, it would direct the whole group hit to you, and it wouldn't stone skin. And you would just be like almost vaporized. So it was kind of weird. If you took the direct hit, then it would stone skin. So you wouldn't take any damage at all. It was a tricky spell. That's the way it used to be. I don't know how it is now. This was the guy that everyone wanted to... Well, I wanted to kill. He had the Doom Rage Spalders. Doom Rage Spalders, man. back in the day. That was the item to have, boy. It had a lot of mitigation on them. A lot of mitigation. I'm not quite sure what I would do though. I don't know if I'd have a Nemesis, scouts. I had a ranger friend. Those are what he wanted. He wanted all the Nemesis. He never got it all. He never got all the Nemesis. It was tough. You couldn't just... This gear I got on right now, this is from Echoes of Fedor, and it's easy to get because it comes in crates. I mean, there's a lot. It just flows with loot. This was the beginning. See that, Lord Vyemm? It's a pretty cool intro. This is gonna be tough. I'm gonna hide the Mert. I want to do this without the Mert. Try that without the Mert. I don't know if I'm gonna live. I gotta kill Alzid Prime first. Pretty sure. This is where you used to tank them. I think Alzid Prime dies first. See, I can do this. I'm gonna solo Lord Vyemm without a Mert. Let's tank them out here. Let's get them out here. I think it looks cooler. Back in the day, this would have been tough, boy. Would have been real tough. He healed. He healed. Do you see that? Alright, we're gonna kill Lord Vyemm. He seems to be dying a lot easier. Let me get my potency up. Get some extra mitigation. So Alzid Prime, you don't want to kill him first. He heals. I thought that was how it worked. I thought you kill him first. You gotta kill Lord Vyemm. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they both have to die around 10%. Maybe they both die at 10%. We'll see what happens with Lord Vyemm. He's at 14%. He's at 4%. 3, 2, 1. He's dead. Alright, Lord Vyemm dies first, then Alzid Prime. Back in the day, you used to have a courser that would mem-wipe this Alzid Prime, and only Lord Vyemm would come at you. So you didn't have to tank them both. Because, I mean, you had to have that Paladin, man. He was badass. Kill. But sometimes you had to have a Guardian. A lot of people rolled a Guardian with a lot of mitigation. Because they had a lot of mit and they had a lot of health. And with the buckler reversal, you also got a lot of block. It would block. The trouble was getting a good buckler. They didn't have a lot of options for bucklers back in the day. See, I didn't get any of the stuff I wanted, but you know, there's nothing real cool. Just, you see, you only had all scouts got this. This originally wasn't all scouts. This was just for bards. Night Cord was bard. True Dirge. People would have loved to have that. I had that. That was a good item back in the day. What else should we get? This was, I think, let's see what it looks like. I'm not sure. It could have been a Bruiser Monk only item. Maybe Bruiser Monk Warden Fury. They added the Chandler and Beast Lord to it. Alright, well that was a Labs raid. Little history about Labs. I got some other videos I've done on here. I'm gonna try to hit up Death Toll. I'm gonna do a stream of Death Toll. But here's my gear, if you want to see it. I got, this is Echoes of Fedor. All this armor. This, Soulfire, that was from Echoes of Fedor at the very end. It used to have a block. Used to get 2% block, used to actually block back in the day. Now it doesn't block. This used to be a 2% block, which was pretty good. Now this might actually work. This says 2% chance to absorb a melee attack. That might actually be blocking a block. That might be absorbing completely a melee hit. So if they auto attack and hit me, that might be absorbing a hit. I'm not sure. I don't think that shows up in my ACT. You might be able to dig through combat and try to figure it out, but I'm not doing it. This came from Contested Mae Young. I got that not too long ago. This is Contested Mae Young also. Contested Mae Young seems to have the best loot. If you can wear it. The next best is the items that come from, like this one, from the Throne of New Tenere raid. Like this right here, this Throne of New Tenere raid. When damaged in combat, has a 5% chance to cast Pure Blood. Dispels 80 levels of noxious and arcane hostile effects on caster. So it basically cures you. Just having this on cures myself. Pretty nice item. This one increased your haste by 20. It's pretty good. This one increases threat by 831. It'd been nicer if it did damage, 831 damage or something. Increases threat by 393. Like I said, it would have been nicer if it did damage, but it's alright, I'll take it. This came from killing Wuxi. I don't think I can solo Wuxi. Maybe. I think I can solo Wuxi if I clear out all the trash. I can solo him. Pretty sure. I can't solo Contested Mae Young. That's Contested Mae Young. I tried soloing Contested Mae Young, and he de-levels you to like level 65, and he does a power tap, and he hits like a truck, even with my amazing gear and amazing stats and all my AA and everything. This guy's totally tweaked out with the best of everything for level 70. Still can't kill Contested Mae Young. Dodge or parry 10% to increase threat. So he's got a lot of increased threat. Not sure if it really even, like I said, it would have been nice to do damage, or maybe even just do a blue stat. Maybe increase potency. That would have been nice. Increase your attack speed or damage per second. Cast speed. That would have been even nicer. These are just kind of like, this doesn't do anything really. But it procs. Back in the day, those little tiny things actually added up and did something. And they made sure that they actually worked better. They used to, like your items used to be affected by base damage, potency, and crit chance. You know, used to have everything used to work differently. So what they say there might be not exactly. They used to do even more back in the day because of the way your stats worked back in the day. But this was a, you know, a Friday night coming in here, you know, and you just prayed that you got the items that you wanted. Like I said, I seen the paladin, he had everything in here, and he got nerfed, and he couldn't even clear the zone anymore, even with the perfect raid setup. So I mean, it was pretty bad, man. I mean, nothing like doing this and then all of a sudden you can't do it anymore. I mean, he was helping everyone out. He couldn't even become a Shadow Knight. This is a Shadow Knight. He was wanting to become a Shadow Knight because the Shadow Knights were actually getting better, and he couldn't even do that because he couldn't come in here and get the gear. He didn't have 2 sets of gear. That was why he was coming in here. Well, I wish I known what I know now. I didn't know anything. I was just like, oh, I want to go in there. I've never seen it. I've only been in there a couple of times. You know, this was, you know, this was it back in the day, dude. You didn't go in the zones that look like this. You didn't play games that look like this. You didn't have all the people and all the chat to go with it. And all the quests. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, even in here, the zone. Let me turn some of this stuff off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off and turn that off. But even the zone, like this might even be a quest. Break barrier. I think that's a quest, maybe. I don't see anything in there. I think that is a quest. I forget why you would go in there. I think you went in there for something. But let me check my map. Yeah. This is right here. This is a quest update right here. You click that. And you click that right there. Claymore. That's to get, you know, to get this shield right here. To get that shield right there. You had that was part of the Kino's Claymore quest. I mean, you had to come in here and clear this out. Well, let's go evac. Memories. Boy. We'd come in here and you see this right here. These eggshells right here. See? We'd come in here and we'd start killing this stuff, waiting for everyone to get here. We'd kill all these, we'd kill these little things, these little drakes. Waiting for everyone to get here. Man. Well, I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna start a new one. The new one's gonna be Death Toll. I'm gonna try to solo Death Toll. So let me see how I can end this. Oh, that's not how you do it. This might. Is this it? Let me manually do it. Go here. What's the command there? Alt F7.